Anahita, good morning to you. I mean, just how bad is the situation when we talk about 120,000 hectares? It's not just about getting food to people right now. It's also about food security, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Good morning. Thank you for having us. Indeed, the situation is quite dire. At the moment, our greatest concern are those people, those families who are hosted in temporary accommodation sites which were activated by the government in the aftermath of the disaster. And while those spaces have offered communities safety, they are not particularly adapted to fulfill their basic needs. So there are needs in terms of food, there are needs in terms of sanitation, water, hygiene for these people in accommodation sites. The humanitarian community has been extremely active on several fronts. First of all, right after the disaster, we've been conducting assessments together with the government to understand what are the needs of the affected populations. We've also been providing relief items, including food kits, to these people in temporary accommodation sites. And as they will be moving backwards to their homes, we will be supporting them with 1 month food rations and other basic kits, so to give them a little bit of time, to reestablish themselves. But this food security situation is indeed, we are concerned about it. While we don't have sufficient evidence on the impacts that Cyclone Eloise and Tropical Storm Shalan before that will have on the state of the harvest, it is likely that the food security situation of these communities will be impacted. And already in Sofala province, we were assisting some 150,000 people during the peak of the lean season, or the hunger peak, let's say, until the next harvest in March. And we are yet uncertain what will be the food security situation of these populations, but we remain on standby to provide a need-based response.
Anahita, speak to me briefly about South Africa's involvement in this as well. How has South Africa been assisting, and can South Africa assist more with what's happening with our northern neighbour?
This is a very good question. I think the South African government has been supporting the government of Mozambique during the emergency relief phase. For us, any bilateral or multilateral aid would be very welcome to design an approach, a response approach to fulfill the food security needs of these populations. Let's say that as these communities start returning to their houses, they will be receiving basic food kits for 1 month, but beyond March, we need to be extremely attentive to their conditions and provide assistance accordingly. There are several means that the South African government and population can assist WFP, but also other humanitarian organizations in these joint efforts.
Anahita, just before I say goodbye to you, say there are ways for us to help as a public. Give us a sense of the WFP. If somebody wants to assist from South Africa, your organization, very briefly, how do they do that?
For individual givings, we have several platforms that allow people to do so. For governmental givings, we have dedicated systems and processes that enable us to receive funding from the government. For now, what we foresee is that we need at least 10.5 million to assist some 150,000 people impacted by Cyclone Eloise. We are all still speaking about preliminary figures, which will be fine-tuned in the very close future, but this is our estimate as of now.
All right, I appreciate your time. I'm sure those who are wanting to support and see where they can help can head over to their website. Just look for the World Food Programme, or WFP, and their efforts over in Mozambique. Anahita, congratulations to you and your team. Anahita Boboeva in Maputo in Mozambique, off the back of Cyclone Eloise and that devastation.